Today we are going to learn how to factor. Factoring is the opposite of distributing. So, just a quick review of distributing. If we have 3 times x plus 5, 3 times x is 3x, 3 times 5 is 15. Now, for factoring, they're going to give us this and ask us to go to that. So we're going backwards. So in order to do that, let's take a look at a problem. Our first problem is going to be 8x plus 12. Fix that so you can see a little bit better. 8x plus 12. So the first thing I need to do is I've got to find the greatest common factor. So there's two ways of finding common factors. The first way is you can just list things that you can times together equal 8. 1 times 8, 2 times 4. Then you list things that times together equal 12. 1 times 12, 2 times 6, 3 times 4. Now I look at the list and I see what's the biggest on both lists. So the biggest on list is 8, but 8's not over here. The second biggest is 4, and there's a 4 here. So my greatest common factor is 4. So then I put the 4 on the outside, and then I ask myself, well, 4 times what equals 8? Well, 4 times 2 equals 8. Don't forget to write the letter down. Do not forget to write that letter. And then I ask myself, well, 4 times what equals 12? 4 times 3 equals 12, and at that point I have successfully factored it using the greatest common factor and multiples. So there's a second way of finding the greatest common factor. We're going to use that on, well, let's do one more like that and then we'll use the second way. So 3a plus 6. I ask myself, what times what equals 3? 1 times 3. What equals 6? 1 times 6, 2 times 3. Biggest number on this list is 3. 3 is on this list. My greatest common factor is 3. So I put the 3 on the outside. 3 times what equals a? 3 times what equals 3? 3 times 1, so 1a, which could just be a. 3 times what equals 6? 3 times 2. So I put the 2 in there, and that's my answer. Now I can check my work. To check my work, I just distribute. 3 times 1, 3 times 2. And I get 3a plus 6, which is what we started with. Okay, if I have 12x plus 16. I'm going to teach you a different method. You could list off 1 times 12, 2 times 6, 3 times 4, or you could break it down using a factor tree. Start wherever. I'm going to start with 2 and 6. Then I break down the 6. What times what equals 6? 2 and 3. Then I do a factor tree for the 16. What times what equals 16? I could start with 4 and 4, 2 and 8. Doesn't matter. I must choose 2 and 8. What times what equals 8? 2 and 4. What times what equals 4? 2 and 2. Now I look and I say what's on the same on both lists. I'm only looking at the bottom ones. Well, this one's got a 2 hanging, and this one's got a 2. So there's a 2 that's the same. And here's a 2, and here's a 2. So there's another 2 that's the same. There's a 3 here. There's no 3 over there, so that's everything that's the same. 2 times 2 is 4. My greatest common factor is 4. So that's just another way of finding the greatest common factor. This works a lot better if you don't know your multiplication facts, or if you're dealing with really big numbers. I like this method better. For smaller numbers, if you know your times tables, listing out what times what equals it is a better option. So you can use either method. So my greatest common factor is 4. So I take the 4 and I put it out front. And I ask myself, 4 times what equals 12? 4 times 3 equals 12. Do not forget to write the letter. 4 times what equals 16? 4 times 4, and that is my problem. I can check it. 4 times 3, 4 times 4. 12x plus 16 works, so I know that that's right. What about if we have negatives? Yay, negatives. If you have negatives, you do the exact same thing. So you can list them either way. I'm going to go ahead and use the factor tree method again, just because I want to show it to you again. What times what equals 6? 2 and 3. Done. What times what equals 12? I could say 2 and 6 here, or 3 and 4, doesn't matter. I'm going to go with 3 and 4. What times what equals 4? 2 and 2. There's a 2 on this list. There's a 2 on this list. So I know I'm going to use a 2. There's a 3 on this list. There's a 3 on that list. So I know I'm going to use a 3. There's nothing left on that list. So 2 times 3, my greatest common factor is 6. If this number is negative, I'm going to pull the negative out. I don't want a negative here. If the negative's here, it's got to come outside. So I pull the negative out. Negative 6 times what equals negative 6? Negative 6 times 1 equals negative 6. Negative 6 times what equals negative 12? Times 2. Positive or negative? Negative, those two are friends. So it's got to be a positive. And that's my answer. Check my work. Negative 6 times 1, negative 6k. Negative 6 times negative 2, negative 12. And I am done. Let's do this one more. Negative 4x minus 16. I'm going to use just multiplying methods. So 1 times 4 equals 4, 2 times 2. What equals 16? 1 times 16, 2 times 8, 4 times 4. Looking at all the lists, what's the biggest number on both lists? Biggest number here is 4. Is 4 on this list? Yes, it is. My greatest common factor is 4. Because this is a negative, I want that negative out front. So I put the negative 4 here. Negative 4 times what equals negative 4? That's a 1. Negative 4 times what equals negative 16? Positive 4. And that's my answer. Okay, good luck. You got this.